Hi guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm, and welcome to part 4 in my Across the Duck Pond series on how to successfully hatch duck eggs. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it so far in this series, but those of you that have been watching for some time will know, but in case you don't, not that it makes any difference, but in case you don't, we here at Hilltop Farm have Indian runner ducks. So these are Indian runners. Now, you will see on our trusty quirky incubator timer thing here, on the last episode it showed day 24, which I explained was actually day, it meant that it had completed day 24 and it was currently on day 25. And I then explained that in a couple of hours it was going to click over and display day 25 completed and actually be in day 26. And during that video I noticed one of the eggs had started pipping, and you were able to hear the duckling inside cheeping. Well, and I think I then went on to explain how it takes 24 to 48 hours for duck eggs to hatch. It's a much slower process. So those of you that were concerned, now if you look at the front of this, it is now showing day 26. That means day 26 is now complete and we're now in day 27. Alright, now that it's probably, at a guess, I'm saying it's probably about 28 hours since I filmed that last video, even though this looks like it's clicked over 2 days. As I say, it was about to click over anyway before, so it's about 28 hours, and you'll find that that one that started pipping has progressed, but not a great, well, when I looked at it last it hadn't progressed a great deal, and we had others, as I predicted, pipping. I also spoke to you about how I'm quite comfortable when I get them out to look at them, and I'm not worried about the shrink wrapping effect of them coming out of the humidity, because the first thing I do is hit them with spray. Alright, I'm about to show you that, but before I do, you will notice our humidity is up to 76%, which is optimum temperature for lockdown and hatching. Okay, so I shall just get them out. Now, I will quickly just get all this nice and wet. Now, can you see that one there? Okay, it's progressed, but it's not what you call hatching. Okay, now I don't know if you can see that, but you can see movement. The membrane's got a tear in it, and every now and then the membrane moves. Anyway, when I look, I give them a quick inspection. Okay, that one's pipping on that side. I think this happens because I check them late. So what I do is when I get to this stage, that one's pipping nicely there. Okay, no obvious pip yet. Okay, I can hear that one, but there's no pip on it. Okay, that one's pipping on that side. See, that one's pipping also on that side. And that one's pipping there. So all are pipping except, funnily enough, the oldest two. I wonder if that's a coincidence or what. But certainly one of the ones that doesn't have an obvious pip is definitely making noise. Now, I'll give them all another quick squirt just to make sure none of those membranes dry out. And then it's straight back in there. Marvellous. Now, of course, this thing's going to scream its head off, and you will see that our humidity has dropped away. But see, it's only dropped down to 66%, which is not dry by any stretch of the imagination. They're actually, the eggs, as you saw in the video, the eggs are wet. The sawdust is nice, the wood shavings are nice and wet. So plenty of moisture going on in there. As I say, we've got 6, we've only just started day 27. And we've got 6 of the 8 pipping. One of the other 2 is definitely making a noise, and I can hear tapping, so that one will be through soon. The other egg, I don't know, but there's nothing to say there's anything wrong with it. It's obviously early days. Now our temperature's back on the way up. It's high enough now that it's stopped that terrible noise. And as you can see, our humidity is up to 75, so it has recovered in a matter of a minute. So that's what I do. When I check them, I'm relatively quick. As I say, when they first start pipping, I look for the pip, and if the pip is sort of underneath, to give it a bit of a hand, I do turn it round so that it's sort of up, either at 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock, if you will. That sort of seems to be the best positioning. Yes, humidity still on the rise, and that's what we do. And as I say, at this stage, don't be scared to just keep spraying them every time you open them. When you start to see those pips starting to zip, like that first one, it's starting to form more of a proper hole. Just be aware, you don't want to flood lots of water in the hole and drown the poor little thing. So don't squirt water directly in the hole, but lightly mist the membrane that's now visible. Keeps it all lubricated and just perfect. Now, humidity up to 77, which of course it will do because it's just been sprayed again, so that humidity will go even higher than it was before you opened it. But that's fine. That's all good. That's what you want. These are ducks. These are waterfowl. You know, so don't be afraid of the moisture in there. What it's supposed to do. Okay, now I'm going to be back off and on for, well, however long it takes, just quickly to show you, you know, hatching and what have you. Our warmer, as I said in the last video, is next door. First sign of anyone zipping, and I'll be turning that on to warm that up. Because as I say, as soon as they're out of the egg, I lift them out, put them straight in there to dry, and that way they don't trample over the other eggs. Yeah. And the other beauty of this is, as most of you will know that have hatched eggs, by the time they're finished hatching, The incubator is in a foul state and it stinks and it's revolting, and this is marvellous because you take that dish out that the eggs have been in, toss it all in your compost pile, and then you just wash the tray, and then all you do with the main incubator is wash it all out with disinfectant, let it dry, and then pack it away for next time. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's all you do normally. That's not true. You've got to scrub it normally because there's bits of goo and muck and all stuck to the bottom of it. It's horrible, actually. This is so much easier. Yeah. But anyway, that's what's happening at the moment. We will be back for updates and to see them, these little guys hatch. Okay, and we're back like good mama ducks. We're sitting here waiting for our babies to hatch. As you can see on our incubator here, day 26 is finished. We're actually on day 27, and in fact, when this counts down the next, 57 minutes, we will actually be, day 27 will be finished, and we'll be on day 28, which is their official due date. Okay, we're going in now to check them. Okay, we've got our water bottle at the ready. And here we go. There they are there. First thing I said before we do anything, give everyone a spray. Right, now, as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3 already hatched. Okay, we've got this little guy here which is starting to zip, and this little guy pipping. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little beak or bill sticking through there. Got a pip down here. This is the only one that so far is not doing anything. But as I say, there's 3 out and 4 to go, 2 of which I don't think are going to be far away. Okay, so having given them a quick look, and as they hatch, leave all this in there because it's all full of this revolting jelly-like substance that actually smells quite unpleasant after a while, but it all adds to the moisture. As you can see on our incubator there, as you can see, the humidity's on 77, flickering to 78, and we've just opened it, so you know the humidity is rather high. Okay, one final squirt. Okay, now you little munchkins go back in here. See, this is pretty much the game we play until it's all over. But I'm sure you're dying to see what's in that warmer, aren't you? There's our little cuties. Now, these particular eggs are from those of you that may have seen her, Josephine. She is what is she again? She's an apricot Indian runner, and her mate is a blue trout Indian runner. But all the babies they ever have all seem to be the apricot Indian runner, the same as her, and that's what these little guys are looking like. So yeah, so that's the first 3. Okay, we shall be back later to see how the other eggs are progressing. We're about to click over in about 13 minutes. Day 28 will finish and our hatching has come to an end. Okay, we've finished off with our humidity still up high as it is supposed to be. Okay, 7 of our 8 eggs have hatched here. This one is showing no sign of anything. There's no sound coming from it, no movement in the air sac. So I'm guessing we've lost that one somewhere along the ways. And I'll probably leave it in the incubator for another 24 hours just in case, but my experience, no, I think that one's gone. So that's it really, all the mess neatly contained in there. Just tip that out and clean it, and rough clean up of your incubator. Okay, and the final result, and here we go, our baby Indian runners. Okay, now they're dried off in the warmer here, they will go in the brooder. Yeah, and that's that. So, I hope this series has helped you, and perhaps given you some ideas, bit of a fresh method from what you're used to perhaps. As I said to you at the beginning, we were having a terrible time, terrible hatch rate, couldn't work out what we were doing wrong, and I don't think it was in hindsight, I don't think it was one thing in particular. I think it was a combination of the automatic turner. I just don't think I think that they obviously work for chicken eggs because we use them for chicken eggs, it's no drama. But I think for duck eggs it doesn't seem, I don't think that works. Not very well anyway. I think the humidity is a major issue. One of the biggest issues is the humidity. It really needs to be much higher than any recommendation I've ever seen in anything I've looked at online. When I've tried the recommendations, they say I don't have any luck. When I send the humidity through the roof, and as I say, I've already had comments of people saying, oh, but that's far too high, the ducklings will drown in the egg, and I know that's what they say, but mine don't, so I don't know. Maybe I have dehydrated old ducks out there that... I'm kidding, it's got nothing to do with that. But this is what seems to work. So as I know, the humidity is a huge factor. It's a big factor not having your incubator out of sight, out of mind. I know they get in the way and they're cumbersome, and the automatic, I guess the automatic thing to want to do, because you're stuck with it for a month, is, you know, to put it in your spare bedroom, put it in your laundry room, put it in your basement, somewhere where it's out of the way. But having it in the room keeps it under your nose and keeps your attention on it all the time, and you don't forget to tend it. You notice when anything goes wrong, and that's, yeah, I think that's why we've had success. So, you know, the turner, the humidity, and the fact that it's on site and you can monitor it easy. And as I say, when you think of them as not being a farmyard bird that you throw in with your chickens, when you think of them that they are waterfowl, and how do they do this in the wild, and I want to mimic how they do this in the wild, I actually think what I'm doing here is pretty much as close as you can get to mimicking their natural behaviour. And I firmly believe that's why we're having the success we are having. So yeah, I know other people do have success, don't get me wrong. I know recently I saw Pattaya at Appalachia's Homestead just hatched out, I think it was 5 khaki Campbells. But have you seen that woman? She's delightful. But she is so caring with her birds, and her incubators are on her kitchen countertop, and she talks to them, and if any of her birds ever die, I'm sure they're only killed with kindness. There's no other way to put it. And look, she's lovely, she's fantastic. And that's perhaps why she has the success, because she gives them so much attention. Most homesteaders don't do that. I'm not saying, you know, they neglect their animals, but they're not perhaps as attentive. So I'm not saying other methods don't work. All I'm saying is this works for us. Okay? So if you have any questions about this series, if you think I haven't covered something or you don't understand something, let me know in the comments. But if you did enjoy the series, give us a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And until next time, it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!